Well, the LA Clippers are on a roll right now. Winners of 9 of their last 10 and are 26-5 overall since the calendar ticked over to December, fresh off of an absolutely eye-popping 149-point outing against Atlanta. The torrent 3-month stretch by LA's other team leaves them sitting atop the Western Conference in sole possession of the #1 seed, with both the Thunder and Timberwolves losing last night.
Pretty damn cool! Woo!
And the Clippers were already one of the biggest woulda, coulda, shouldas in the entire NBA coming into this season, as the Clip Show have just never been able to fully capitalize on their potential following that stunning collusion-based super team-up strategy that was deployed by Kawhi Leonard and Paul George back in the summer of 2019. That left even the super team king himself scratching his head at the time. As remember, LeBron was already in LA at that point, and he was also putting on the full court press for Kawhi to join him in the City of Angels with the purple and gold. Kawhi instead, though, had designs on his very own super team with the other LA franchise. Just one problem: he needed a superstar mate to come to town and join up.
What it do, baby? Yeah.
And Kawhi would find his perfect match in the form of Paul George, who was coming off of a career year with the Thunder in 2018-2019, as George was named first-team All-NBA and first-team All-NBA defense that season, while posting a career-high 28 points per game, 8 rebounds, and 4 assists. And at the time, a legitimate case could have been made for Paul George as a top 5 NBA player and ascending at just 28 years of age, who finished 3rd in MVP voting that very year. A pairing with Leonard seemed like a match made in heaven, as Kawhi was fresh off of his age 27 season, a year where he led the Toronto Raptors to an NBA championship. The two, still in their 20s, both born in Southern California, both high-caliber two-way players. Just one tiny problem here: George still had 3 years left on his 4-year, $137 million contract with Oklahoma City. But not to worry, this was, after all, right in the heart of the super team era, where petulant, overpaid prima donnas just decide what and where they want to play and expect others to facilitate their every whim. Thanks, LeBron. So, just about 1 year after signing that max extension with the Thunder, Paul George was, of course, on his way to team with Kawhi. And again, this seemed like a can't-miss pairing. Except that is for the fact that pretty much neither one of them can manage to finish a full NBA season, in what has all of a sudden been 5 years since that team-up. And entering into this 2023-2024 season, Kawhi Leonard had only played a total of 161 of a possible 307 games, while Paul George had himself missed 118 games during that span, playing only 189 games over the last 4 years. The Clippers, though, would add another high-caliber SoCal native in February of last year, when Russell Westbrook agreed to terms with this LA team after being cut loose by his original LA team.
What?
And things would really heat up on Halloween this year, when just 4 games into this brand new 2023-2024 league year, the Clippers would complete a blockbuster deal to bring on another Southern California original and former league MVP, James Harden.
I'm not a system player. I am a system.
And he didn't even need to eat his way out of town this time. Just go on record bashing his longtime advocate and president of basketball operations for the Sixers, Daryl Morey, as a liar.
Let me say that again. Daryl Morey is a liar.
Then, of course, no-show training camp before arriving and later skipping out on more practices with personal matters. Eventually, as is almost always the case in this busted-ass era of entitlement, big baby, little game James Harden would be shipped off to LA. And the Clippers responded initially to this trade by losing 6 consecutive games and dropping their overall record to just 3-7. But since that time, the Clippers have been arguably the best team in the entire league, as they have not only seized that top spot in the West, but are also currently the second-ranked team in net offensive efficiency, behind only the Boston Celtics. And speaking of Boston, the Clippers are now all of a sudden just 3 games out from ripping the best record in the entire league from them. Unlike the Celtics though, LA is helmed by one of the very best coaches in the entire league, Tyronn Lue. And they boast a quartet of players, all 35 or younger, who have each been named to at least one All-NBA first team throughout their career. This team is absolutely stacked.
Come on, get up if you're psyched as I am!
However, there remain some troubling unanswered questions, which promise to linger around this team up until the very moment they hoist that potential Larry O'Brien trophy.
It's all about the Larry O.B.
As James Harden's prolific proclivity to pissing down his leg in the playoffs when the lights are at their brightest is extremely well documented, to say the least. While Playoff P has had his own high-profile, high-leverage meltdowns in the postseason, such as when he transformed into Pandemic P right before our very eyes in the bubble tournament of 2020, when the Clippers blew a 3-1 series lead at the hands of the very young Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray Denver Nuggets. In Game 7, George dropped a robust dump in his pants.
It's a complete crap.
While dropping a minuscule 10 points on 4 of 16 shooting, including
0.0
in the fourth of that winner-take-all game. The following season, in the 2021 Western Conference Finals, a 6-game loss to the Phoenix Suns, George again experienced some, struggles.
I got poopy.
Going 5 of 20 from the field in Game 4 before posting a 6 of 15 shooting game in the Game 6 eliminator, getting blown out 130-103 and posting a team worst -25 for the game.
Well, you can't be calling yourself playoff P and lose all the time.
And then, of course, there's Kawhi Leonard, who does have 2 championships under his belt and 2 Finals MVPs. But this guy is so damn brittle, he can barely run 10 feet down the court without sustaining a season-ending injury. Ultimately, there are no guarantees in life or sports, but this team has more question marks than any title contender in recent memory, if they can stay healthy. This team very well may be the last team standing at the end of the season, but that is a monumental if.